It's another day of slick streets and difficult driving in Jessamine County.
Oh, she said, are you going? I said, well, yeah. She said, well, if you can't get home, I'll meet you. I'll come down. I said, I don't think so if I can't get home.
Fans aren't letting the wintry weather keep them from watching the Cats in action. Hear from some people who traveled several hours to see the Cats take on the Tigers.
Our winter storm now transitioning to a flood event for parts of central and eastern Kentucky. We'll track the heavy rains just ahead.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Hey everybody, I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey, meteorologist Jim Caldwell joining me now. What a weather day, weather week it has been. Another winter storm out there over the past 24 hours. Snow, sleet, freezing rain, and now just plain old heavy rain for some.
Yeah, pick your poison. We had it all at different points throughout the day today, but now it is that heavy rain, and that's what we're focusing in on because now we're starting to see some of those high water caused by ice jams.
Yeah, you're getting ice, you're getting rain, you're getting melting snow. You've got the trifecta of nasty weather for flooding conditions out there in a lot of counties into southern and southeastern Kentucky. Jim, under flood warnings. These are just general flood warnings. This goes until 9:30 for all of southern Kentucky. That includes London, Corbin, Somerset, into Williamsburg, and into sections of parts of Rockcastle County, Jackson County included in that as well. So our flooding trio of trouble with heavy rain, snow melt, and ice jams on some of the waterways out there. Ice jams, basically we've had such cold weather of late that a lot of the waterways were freezing over. Now all of a sudden you put this big rush of water in our creeks and streams and rivers. Well, that ice has to go somewhere, and a lot of times that kind of backs up downstream, and you can get some high water, kind of like a little mini dam that it has formed. So you get high water behind that until 9:30 in the parts of the Licking River and the Big Sandy Valley areas of southeastern Kentucky. The rest of the area, a lot of standing water, but so far no actual flooding. The numbers for rainfall today, heavier the farther south that we go, better than 2 to 2.5 inches in some areas. Now, what we're noticing on our live First Alert Defender, which has done a heck of a job in picking up that transition zone between everything we've had over the past 24 hours, finally starting to see the back edge creeping into parts of northern Kentucky as of right now. And wouldn't you know it, the back edge is containing a little more in the way of some snowflake action here into parts of the Lexington Metro, down the BG Parkway, some locally heavy rains that continues into parts of southern and southeastern Kentucky, where the higher elevation still getting in on some big time snows. This is a system, by the way, that produced heavy snow southeastern Kentucky, heavy snows into the northern part of the Bluegrass State, so kind of a little bit of a hodgepodge of the heavier snows throughout our part of the world. But again, across the Lexington Metro right now, mainly some wet snowflakes that are being noted across central and eastern Kentucky, everything coming at us from southwest to northeast. Jim, you're looking at some of the pictures we've been getting of those ice jams. Very rare to see here in Kentucky.
Yeah, you better believe it. You normally see these out where you have significant amounts of snow around for a long period of time. Let's get to it right quick here so you can see what we're talking about. This came from Breathitt County. Daryl Deaton shared this one, and you can see the ice really starting to stick together in that particular stream there. Again, that's in eastern Kentucky, Breathitt County there, and left fork of Abbott Creek out in Floyd County, an area that's known for flooding anyway out there in eastern Kentucky. You can see the ice also starting to stack up there, causing those problems again, Chris.
Yeah, exactly right. And Jim, the thing we've got to look forward to or kind of watch for as we go through the evening, a lot of the heavier snows that we've had out there now, some of that melting. By the way, look at this picture of heavy snow out of Harlan County. Absolutely incredible. That was a carport, by the way. What we're talking about, though, going forward, Jim, is going to be the potential for everything icing over this evening. Temperatures will drop below freezing again late this evening into the night, so slick roads will likely become a possibility as we go into later tonight. Kristen, a very, very busy winter storm that is still going strong across the Bluegrass State.
Sounds like it. Thank you, Chris. Many UK fans are braving the snow and ice to see the Cats take on the Auburn Tigers. Some spent hours in the car traveling to the game this morning. WKYT's Garrett Weimer continues our weather team coverage. He's live in downtown Lexington to talk about what drivers should expect to see if they're heading downtown tonight.
Well, right now we've got a little light rain falling here in downtown Lexington near Rupp Arena. A bit messy out here, but conditions worth braving to be out here for tonight's game. Now just under an hour till tip-off. Fans are armed with their umbrellas, which helps them right now, but it was a wet and slushy drive for a lot of fans. One woman I talked to from Western Kentucky, well, she says it took them about 5 hours to get here because of the roads, and that's about an hour longer than normal. The bottom line, though, this is something people don't want to miss, so they've gone to great lengths to make sure they don't. And one man even told me his wife was surprised when she found out he was still going to the game.
Oh, she said, are you going? I said, well, yeah. She said, well, if you can't get home, I'll meet you. I'll come down. And I said, I don't think so if I can't get home.
Saw several cars in the ditches. There's one tractor trailer wreck up around 65, but, you know, traffic was still moving, so.
All the fans I talked to said they really took their time getting here, driving carefully to make sure they got here safely. And that's something they'll also have to do when they're going back. When temperatures drop and what's out here that's wet could get even more slick. In fact, guys, just from where I've been standing, the slush that I was standing on is now frozen. I think just about pretty solid here. So even I have to be careful just standing. And we'll send it back to you now live in Lexington. Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Be careful out there. Thank you, Garrett. Earlier today, Lexington road crews were salting and scraping. They were hard at work overnight trying to keep all drivers safe. Despite their efforts, officers did have to deal with several crashes this morning. WKYT's Sean Moody talked to police on Interstate 75.
That storm turned Interstate 75 into a slushy mess shortly after it rolled through this morning. It caused accident after accident for Lexington police and firefighters to work. The snow, sleet, and freezing rain combined to create this slush on streets and highways all across Lexington. There were several accidents along I-75. At least 2 tractor trailers jackknifed, blocking parts of the road. A police officer was working an accident when another car slid into his cruiser. Around 8 o'clock, this truck lost control and ended up overturned on the side of I-75 around exit 104. Within a couple of hours, some heavy-duty wreckers had lifted that truck up off the embankment and got the scene cleared. And in this morning's accidents, police said there were no serious injuries. In Lexington, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Road crews now say their biggest concern is the drop in temperatures we're expecting overnight. Right now, they say storm drains are packed with ice and snow, and all the rain is causing more buildup inside those drains. That could pose a problem for early morning drivers. WKYT's Mark Barber talked to deputies. He continues our weather team coverage from Jessamine County.
Emergency management officials say when it comes to winter weather, Jessamine County has seen it all today, from sleet to freezing rain and then snow. Now the rain is coming down, and it's causing problems of its own. Road crews say it isn't all bad. They tell us they don't have to put down much salt because the rain is melting the snow, but there is still plenty of snow. Drivers on slushy side streets are still struggling to move an inch, and drivers who had trouble on US 68 abandoned their cars on the side of the road. The rain has been coming down steadily, and deputies say it's bringing new challenges for drivers. It's melting 6 to 12 inches of snow, and in some cases, all that runoff has nowhere to go. We're told many storm drains are still blocked, so the water is pooling on the road. As the rain continues to fall, emergency management officials tell us they are very worried that some areas will flood. Sergeant Gerald Wheeler says his immediate concern is ice. Temperatures will soon dip below freezing, and he says the wet roads will start to freeze.
If you have somewhere to be and then go, but be very careful and drive slow. If you don't have anywhere to be, just stay home. Enjoy your family.
Road crews say they are still working to clear storm drains so water can run off the road. As for the roads that are still covered in slush like this one here, road crews say their salt trucks and their snow plows will continue to run until their roads are considerably clearer. In Jessamine County, Mark Barber, WKYT.
A busy Boyle County road had to close this morning after part of the street collapsed. Emergency crews say First Street between Main and Broadway caved in around 9 this morning. They say a water main broke and caused water to flood the streets. Right now, they are encouraging drivers to avoid that area. And fire crews in Lexington have had their fair share of water main breaks this morning. Firefighters say since midnight, they've responded to dozens of them. Whitney Wetzel continues our team coverage in Lexington. She talked to crews about how dealing with a break takes a toll on their department.
Lexington firefighters have responded to dozens of waterline breaks since midnight, and as temperatures rise, that number continues to grow. This is what happens after a few days of sub-zero temperatures once it starts to warm up. Firefighters say pipes burst on the 3rd floor of the Lexington Center near the Thoroughbred room just before midnight. Water then made its way down to the food court on the 1st floor. A similar situation also happened at an apartment complex off Sir Barton Way. At least 2 apartments at the retreat at Hamburg Place were flooded with water. Between midnight and noon, Lexington firefighters responded to a little over 100 water main breaks, mostly at homes and businesses. Those calls alone take a major toll on the fire department's manpower.
Water cutoffs in this type of weather takes a great toll on the fire department. Ladder companies usually respond to take care of that. We have 7 ladder companies that cover the city of Lexington. We've put extra companies on duty just for water cutoffs because the amount of them is going to increase, especially by this afternoon, tonight.
Now, firefighters say the best way to prevent water damage if a pipe would burst inside of your home is to know where your water valve is so you can shut it off and minimize that damage. In Lexington, Whitney Wetzel, WKYT.
Firefighters also say a lot of fire hydrants right now are covered in snow. They're asking people to take some time to clear off the snow around those hydrants in case they need to access them for a fire. A Lincoln County police station is trying to clean up after their roof collapsed this morning. A radio station there reports snow caused part of the Stanford police station's roof to come down. Officers say they're trying to look at the roof damage and start necessary repairs, but their priorities right now lie with helping others. Many drivers in southern Kentucky spent the morning dealing with slick roads. The freezing rain caused a lot of problems for drivers headed down I-75. WKYT's Phil Pendleton talked to one person traveling south from Canada.
I'm in the East Bernstadt area, but I have been from the north to the south, London down to Corbin. There has been every kind of precipitation possible today and a lot of problems as a result.
It came in all different forms Saturday, starting with freezing rain in the morning to rain and snow in the afternoon. London's Hampton Inn was a stopping point for travelers from Canada on their way to sunnier days in Florida.
It's going to take it slow and see how the roads are. I see a few transports driving down I-75, so we're just going to take our time this morning.
Saturday's rain, added to earlier snows, brought flooding to many roads, including Interstate 75. It shut down some lanes and brought out firefighters who worked to divert the water. Emergency management was also kept hopping.
Monitor everything here, man.
As they received calls of everything from ambulances sliding off the roads to some pathways made impassable by the high water.
Whenever you talk about ice, a lot of people get concerned about power outages. That was not a big problem this morning. The emergency management director tells me they only had a handful of outages. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
The Laurel County Sheriff's Office did respond to several minor wrecks this morning. Deputies believe the slick road conditions played a role in those crashes.
Snow, sleet, and freezing rain giving way to more of a heavy rain event for parts of the area. We're tracking the potential for flooding coming up.
And we're continuing our team winter weather coverage live outside Rupp Arena, where fans are braving the wintry mix to get to the big game.
Dealing with some slick roads. Went back and forth from freezing rain to snow, and it creates a bad mixture.
This morning's constantly changing weather kept crews here in Scott County busy as they battled everything from freezing rain that quickly switched over to heavy snow.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Hey everybody, Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey back with you. Meteorologist Jim Caldwell joining me now as we track another winter storm. This time we're tracking it out of the state over the next several hours. So that's a good thing for a change.
Yeah, because it's been a total mess here just from last week's storm all the way through, because we couldn't get rid of the snow because of the brutal cold that
Exactly.
we had.
The past week of winter weather that we've had here in Kentucky is going to be kind of the mark that future winters are judged against. I mean, you're talking about this week alone, 10 to 24, 25 inches of snow, some of the coldest temperatures you will ever see. And now, Jim, we're watching this latest winter storm transition to heavy rain, and it's causing some issues out there, too.
Already doing that, especially in southern and eastern parts of Kentucky, where scenes like this might be a little more common. We just don't know about them yet.
Yeah, that's out of Corbin. That's not too far away from the Kroger down there, and that's basically some icy floodwaters, and this car drove into that, got stuck. This from our Twitter feeds, and you can look at the water there, and you don't think it looks like true water. It looks like just a little icy road that has some slush on it, so chances are that driver just decided to drive right on into it, and then boom, all of a sudden in the middle of standing water. Some high water issues already creeping up. No wonder we've picked up 1, 2, maybe even pushing 3 into southern Kentucky for rainfall and for snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Everything combined, you melt it down, it's produced better than 1 to 2 inches of water so far. Flood warnings are out for parts of southern Kentucky, all the counties that are shaded in green until 9:30 for that combination of heavy rain, snow melt, and ice jams on the waterways that are out there. We continue with flood warnings into southeastern Kentucky as well until 9:30. Little good news on Defender. We're seeing the back edge of the precipitation now beginning to show up across parts of central Kentucky. That is heavy rain and some snow thrown in there for good measure. Where you see the brighter colors here showing up on Defender, chances are it's picking up on those big old fat snowflakes that are ongoing. And the higher elevations of southeastern Kentucky continuing to see the snowflakes. Steady rains here across the Mountain Parkway and I-64 corridors into northeastern Kentucky, where, again, some wet snows will continue to try to mix in with that. So Live First Alert Defender tracking, Jim, the precipitation finally on out of the area, but that doesn't mean necessarily we're through with the icy conditions overnight, does it?
No, especially tonight, because we're going to see those temperatures go right back into the mid and even some upper 20s. So all the area roadways that are wet that you see even right here, you see a lot of shimmer in those scenes from Frankfort to the northern split of 64, 75, even out on Winchester Road and along 75 there at Georgetown. That could get interesting later on tonight. Maybe not so much some of those main roads, Chris, but especially those side roads and neighborhood roads that are already in rough shape, brother.
Yeah, and we've got temperatures that are above freezing right now. We're likely to stay above freezing for the next several hours, but those temperatures will tumble. And a little word of caution, if you park your car in a slushy area or, you know, where you've got still a lot of standing snow and some slush out there, with temperatures tonight, Kristen, dropping into the 20s, we may see that slush really harden up and freeze up tonight. So be careful where you park your cars into central and eastern Kentucky. We'll be back and fine-tune the forecast and show you where we go for the next several days coming up.
Chris, there are many braving the wintry weather mix outside to make it inside Rupp Arena tonight to watch the Cats take on the Tigers. UK tips off against Auburn in less than 30 minutes, and our Garrett Weimer is live outside Rupp tonight, continuing our weather team coverage. He's taking a closer look at the roads that fans have to drive on to make it to the game. Garrett?
Well, it's still raining here in downtown Lexington near Rupp Arena. It's a bit messy out here, but conditions that fans say are worth braving to be here for tonight's game against Auburn. This afternoon, fans have been armed with their umbrellas, which helps them right now, but it was a wet drive for a lot of fans. One woman I talked to from western Kentucky says it took her about 5 hours to get here because of the roads, and that's about an hour longer than normal. But the bottom line is this is something people don't want to miss, and so they've gone to great lengths to make sure they don't.
Yeah, I came down from Cleveland, my 40th birthday weekend, and nothing better to do than see the Cats continue their perfection. So heard the bad weather was coming, so came down a day early to avoid it a little bit.
All the fans I talked to say they just took their time getting here, and that's something they'll also have to do after the game when they're on their way back, when temperatures drop and this wet stuff could get even slicker. But now many fans are inside, and just under 30 minutes until tip-off. They'll at least have a couple of hours of watching the Cats to keep them warm, keep them dry, and hopefully keep them happy. So live in Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Garrett, thank you. Crews in Perry County aren't alone in their struggle to keep streets clear of all the snow and ice we've experienced the last few days. Brittany Nada continues our weather team coverage from Hazard.
First snow, now ice.
Can't drive on ice.
And flooding.
A lot of pooling water on the roadways, extremely slick conditions.
The third winter weather system in just 1 week is creating major problems on the roads. Hazard police say snow shoveled on top of water drains is freezing and sealing them shut. leaving the rain with nowhere to go.
There's no drainage because of the shoulders of the roadway. It's turned to ice and it's making like a barrier, and the water can't flow out of the streets.
Another reason why they are urging everyone to stay off the roads.
There's a lot of slick spots that we can't see, and motorists are traveling too quickly, and they're on the slick spots before they know it, and they can't take any action to avoid it.
And that's exactly what happened to Dr. Jaya Pampati on her way to work.
I think it's just the fact that it's been a week, and I said, okay, you know, it's 32 degrees, it may not be bad, but didn't realize all the water that was melting the snow down and forming a sheet of ice.
And she's not the only one this week who's had to be towed out of the snow.
200-300, I mean, they've been waiting list.
Making the average wait time for a tow truck about an hour and a half in Perry County.
Right now we have all hands on deck.
Brittany Nada.
Hazard police officers say they are only responding to emergency calls today. They will, they say, continue to check up on individuals who may be living alone or needing assistance because of the cold. This wintry weather mix we're all experiencing made travel tricky across the bluegrass. Earlier today, Hillary Thornton spoke with road crews in Scott County. She shows us how they battled the conditions today.
This morning's constantly changing weather kept crews here in Scott County busy battling everything from rain, freezing rain, sleet, then switching over to a heavy snowfall. And that snowfall created a fresh layer of snow over the ice that fell earlier and the slush and snow that remained from this week's earlier snowfall.
Dealing with some slick roads. Went back and forth from freezing rain to snow, and it creates a bad mixture.
This all coming after days of dealing with close to a foot of snow. Crews worked to clear that while experiencing high winds, snow drifts, and sub-zero temperatures.
You name it, it's hit us this week.
However, road crews say a positive in all of that is that there was already plenty of salt and chemicals on the ground, helping break up the layer of ice that fell early on Saturday morning.
It didn't bond to the blacktop, and it's coming up pretty good, so it's peeling off. If the temperatures was down in the 20s or whatever, quite a bit colder, it would be a totally different story. It's been a battle. It's been a battle this week. One of the worst weeks I've had since the ice storm in 2009.
Road officials say by the end of their crew's work today, they have laid down 1,000 tons of salt this week, but they say their supply is still in good shape for whatever winter has left in store. In Scott County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Georgetown police reported several crashes this morning. Thankfully, they say all of those crashes were minor. A roof collapsed at a Rockcastle County post office today. Had workers scrambling to clean up the mess. We're told the roof at the post office on Richmond Street in Mount Vernon collapsed and flooded the lobby. No employees were hurt. In Berea, the snow and ice caused problems on the roads and problems for some businesses. Employees at Old Town Grill discovered a frozen gutter that backed up water on the roof and caused a leak in the dining area of the restaurant early this morning. Workers there say the leak soaked the floor and damaged some ceiling tiles.
Now we're going to get this cleaned up, and they're on the roof right now taking care of the drainage, and we're going to try to be open this afternoon around 4 o'clock.
The building's owner, we're told, is in the process of replacing the roof and had to stop working on it earlier this week because of the weather. The weather is once again causing a lot of problems at airports across the country. At Lexington's Bluegrass Airport, flight operators canceled and delayed several flights today. You're taking a live look at the flight status screen. If you're planning to fly out of Lexington today, be sure to check with your airline before heading out to Bluegrass Airport. Firefighters in Moorhead battled several big explosions this morning after part of Harold White lumber caught fire. The lumber company employs about 100 people in Rowan County. Firefighters say the flames inside the maintenance building sparked a little before 10 today.
We did have multiple explosions that were going off at that time. It's a maintenance garage. There was oxygen, acetylene, different types of chemicals that were in there burning. And we were able to knock the fire down quickly.
Assistant Chief John Northcutt says his Moorhead fire crews had a lot of help knocking down a large fire at Harold White Lumber. Several neighboring units hauled in extra water to put out the flames and helped contain the fire before it spread to any other buildings.
This building was used for their maintenance. There were 3 front-end loaders, 3 lifts in there. There was a vehicle, a lot of tools, equipment. It was definitely a vital part of their operation here.
The assistant chief says they'll next try to figure out what caused the fire. Harold White Lumber, he says, is a major part of the community and employs many people in Rowan County.
We're going to be here the remainder of the day, cooling down some hot spots. We did notify the State Fire Marshal's office. They're going to be sending in an investigator to try and assist in determining the cause of the fire.
About 50 firefighters helped put out those flames. We'll continue to track the storm tonight. We will have the latest at 11. But if you're away from the TV, you can still help us track that winter storm. You can download the WKYT app for your iPad or your smartphone. It will connect you to the weather tools, including that live radar.